done, Novak. Another impressive performance. You're through to your 10th Australian Open semi-final against someone you've never played against, Tommy Paul. Can you say a few words about him?
Well, I know how he plays. I've never faced him on the court, but he's been around for a few years, so I watched him play quite a bit, especially during this tournament, and he's been playing probably tennis of his life, and very explosive, very dynamic player, quick, very solid backhand, likes to step in, dictate the point with the forehand. Great service motion. I think he can hit all the spots with the serve. So very complete player. I think he's got a coach that has been around with some top players for many years. So, you know, it's first semifinals for him. So of course, you know, he doesn't have much to lose. I'm sure that he's going to go out trying to play his best tennis.
Mark?
Back. Obviously, it's been well documented about the injury coming back to Adelaide, but is this as confident as you've felt at an Australian Open, given everything that's going on and how emphatic you've been in your past two matches?
Well, I can't really say that this is as confident that I ever felt, because I've had some, you know, incredible seasons, years here in Australian Open, and some matches that are really unforgettable for me. Tough to compare, because I've been fortunate to really live through a lot of success in Australian Open. But last two matches, playing against two guys that are really good players, informed players, to beat them dominantly in 3 sets is something that is definitely, you know, something that I want in this moment, something that sends a message to all my opponents remaining in the draw. And so with this kind of game, of course, the confidence level rises, considering, as you mentioned, the circumstances. So, you know, I feel good on the court, better and better as the tournament progresses. I've been in this situation so many times in my life, in my career. You know, never lost the semifinals in Australian Open, and hopefully that will stay the same.
Do you sense a greater determination this year compared with previous years, for whatever reason? Hamstring, what happened last year, age, whatever it might be?
Well, I don't think that I lack determination. I always, you know, try to give my best, particularly in Grand Slams, because at this stage of my career, you know, those are the tournaments that count the most, of course. But you could say that there's something extra this year, yeah. You could say, because of the, yeah, as you mentioned, the injury and, you know, what happened last year. And then I just, you know, wanted to really do well. And so far I have a perfect score in Australian hard courts, you know, in Adelaide and here. And I've been playing better and better, so I couldn't ask for a better situation to be in at the moment.
Howard?
With what Tommy and a couple other guys did here, what Francis did in New York, do you think it's good, important, maybe you don't think it matters, for American men to be relevant in the top levels of tennis?
Well, look, America for our sport is an extremely important country. So we have some of the biggest tournaments in the world played there, in the North American continent. I think it is important that we see successful American men and women doing well, and we have, you know, America is producing historically always, you know, top players, and now you have a list of maybe 4 or 5 young players that are, you know, knocking on the door of the top level. So I think that's great for our sport. You know, we want to see, you know, young successful players that are coming from a big country like America, of course.
To James Giaffon about a guy shouting out from the crowd. I mean, it's happened in a few different matches now. Is it frustrating that it keeps happening?
If it keeps happening, you know, it keeps happening. I mean, there's not much I can do about it. It's just few individuals. I can't, you know, judge the whole crowd because of the few individuals. I mean, absolutely not, you know. But as I said, if somebody steps over the line and starts making comments that are not related to support of the other player, you know, he just wants to provoke and insult, and then, you know, stepping over the line is something that I react to. You know, maybe not first time, second time, but then after that, yes. And then I asked the chair umpire to react. And after that, you know, I heard him, but he was supporting Rublev, and he was not making any bad comments till the end of the match, so I didn't have any complaints about that further on.
I heard you sort of characterize other countries with a specific playing style. Do you think there's an American style?
In terms of tennis style, how Americans play,
I've heard you talk about like the Russians,
or how
and
they
you
dress
say-
up, like
say
Big
things
Foe.
like,
This
all Russians have great backhand.
The Big Foe's attire was a talk of the tournament. I think that North American style of tennis is different from Europe, Eastern Europe particularly, or South America. I think each part of the world has a different school of tennis, so to say, and style. How I would describe North American, it would be probably the kind of a style of tennis that is focused a lot on the powerful and accurate serve, and aggressive style coming to the net. And, you know, of course, some of the biggest champions of our sport that came from United States had different styles, like John McEnroe to Pete Sampras to Andre Agassi, right? Andre was probably the first guy that had returned so well and stayed back and not, you know, after Borg, and not coming into the net as much as, you know, the other guys that were doing, you know, 90% of the players were serve and volleying. You know, nowadays you don't get to see that pretty much at all. So the tennis has evolved and has changed, definitely. The technology, the racket, the strings, the balls, the speed of the surfaces. Not so many years ago, you had 3 out of 4 slams played on grass. So, I think it was 88 or 89 was the last years that we had, you know, also Australian Open played on grass. So, a lot has changed. You know, it is the time where we have more sliding, more tennis from back of the court. You know, focus more on baseline rallies. But I think it's good, like somebody like Cressy, for example, from the United States, that you know has a huge serve and basically comes in after first and second serve. It's nice to see that. I think it's good to have some variety for the fans as well to be able to enjoy different styles.
Last English.
Question regarding media narratives in general. Obviously, there are talks about media from West and East and from Balkan throughout your whole career, especially when you played Roger or Nadal, also with what happened or went wrong last year. You mentioned it yourself with the injury in the last press conference. Just want to know, people have different experience, different mentality, education, me from Germany, people from Balkan, people from America. Regarding this all, how much do you think fair reporting is even possible with people from different backgrounds reporting about a worldwide sport like tennis?
Fair reporting? Well, that's all relative, you know. It's all relative. Fair reporting, in maybe your opinion and my opinion, is 2 different things. So I think that, you know, what I personally like to see is just, you know, respect and not one-dimensional narrative that is focused only on one side of the story and keeps going for a while, writing that kind of story in that direction. I think I like to see when someone is taking a different perspective and understanding, if writing about me or any other athlete or a character, and understanding where he comes from and, you know, trying to be a bit more objective. I mean, that's something I like to see. But again, I respect your profession, and I understand that, you know, without you guys and without media, our sport would not be as it is. as global and popular. So I think that we are all part of the same team in the end of the day. You know, we're all part of this wonderful sport that I feel like we all love and we live out of. And that's all. You know, I understand that there are some people that just are maybe biased. They maybe like me more, like me less. That's it. You know, it's really hard to kind of define that in a simple term. Fair reporting is is such a broad subject, and it's very relative. So it's difficult to determine what is the right way.